What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Hopefully you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving meal. I actually haven't even eaten mine yet. I am recording this Thursday morning, fresh off a Cavaliers loss. I went to my first Cavs game of the season on Wednesday night, and of course that was their second loss of the season and their first home loss of the season. So, guess I won't be going to any more games this year, at least ones that matter, that's for sure. Today, we're talking GameStop again, and we're going to go down a little hypothetical path. There's been a lot of chatter recently on the internet about would GameStop acquire, and listen, I'm no finance bro. I barely understand what Wall Street actually is, so we are not going to dive deep into technical details. The gist of it basically is the internet is running with this theme / story, whatever. I've seen this posted multiple different places, seen a couple other people do videos on it. Could GameStop acquire, bring to IPO, whatever businessy language you want to throw in there, Collectors Universe, aka PSA, SGC, all the other companies that fall underneath Collectors. Collectors Universe, the parent company for PSA and all those other ones, obviously was once a public company, got acquired by the Nat Turner Group, ended up going private again, has been private, will probably go public again at some point in time. Meanwhile, you have GameStop sitting on like $4 billion plus in cash, looking for something to do with it, essentially, in a business where I don't want to say, video games aren't going anywhere, obviously, but the move to digital and the lack of physical media has definitely impacted GameStop for sure. So, we recently have multiple business dealings with PSA. They're now a group submitter with them. Nat Turner is now currently on the board of GameStop. You start just looking at the things and you're like, it's not a big logic leap to get from, where we're currently at to could GameStop and PSA deepen their partnership somehow? And what would that ultimately mean? But before we dig too deep into that, today's video is sponsored by our friends over at the Pennysleever, your home for top quality supplies, very fair prices. And today is Black Friday, so that means they're running Black Friday deals. We have all sorts of stuff on there. Get free penny sleeves, get free top loaders, even free semi-rigids in increasing quantities. So if you're looking to load up on hobby supplies, there is no better time than right now over at the Pennysleever. Once again, free shipping on orders over $50. And you could get 10% off with code NEOCARDS. All of this can be found in the description down below. So let's walk down this path of what if PSA and GameStop deepen their relationship. Could GameStop kind of pivot to the country's massive chain sports card, not even just sports cards, card collectible retailer? They're already dabbling heavily in TCG stuff. They sell a lot of Pokemon product in and out of their stores. They have begun to get allocation from Fanatics in some things. Like I said before, I bought my Topps Chrome Mega Boxes from Fanatic or from GameStop. They put hobby boxes up for some products now over on GameStop.com, and I saw people buy hobby boxes of Star Wars product in actual GameStop stores. For a lot of us, we are blessed with great LCSs or LGSs if you're looking at it from the Pokemon angle. I have tons of stores in my area, but I also realize that I am lucky in that. Not everybody has that. I see comments and get questions and DMs from people all the time how to kind of navigate these things when you don't have access to a local card shop or a local gaming store, depending on which side of the equation that you fall in. Love it or not, there is a lot of GameStops out there. And I know GameStop employees, they're the most basic of human life if you read internet comment sections. But there could be some appeal there towards GameStop all of a sudden basically increasing the card imprint across the nation. And when I'm gonna, from here on out, when I'm speaking about cards or sports cards or whatever, just assume I mean both sports and TCG, because I do think that is their major focus, is TCG, with sports starting to creep in. We already see it with every GameStop being a group submitter. What if every GameStop had a limited drop of hobby boxes, or they're already taking trade in on singles? What if that program ramped up? What if they had, the only thing about GameStops are the stores are typically very small footprinted, so it's not like you could have play space for the TCG side of things. But if they were your one-stop shop for, still doing all the video game stuff, that's not going anywhere. But if, part of the store was now dedicated to cards and collectibles, for a lot of people, that would probably be very beneficial. Now, the flip side of this would be, and I think I heard this on maybe Sports Card Nonsense, I don't remember. I heard someone talk about this, and I just don't remember who it was. It could potentially put a little downward pressure on your friendly local shop. Because here's the thing with GameStop. They're not going to have dynamic market pricing. If a hobby box of Topps Chrome, update, we saw this come out at $200 a box just recently on Topps's website. They sold out instantly. But that was basically the MSRP. When GameStop gets product in, they're not going to go look at eBay sold listings and be like, oh, hey, this one needs to be $300. They're going to throw it out there at whatever price point basically Topps puts on the sell sheet. So if all of a sudden you have a product that comes out and hobby boxes are doing $200 via Topps Direct, maybe it sells out, and then GameStop gets them in and they're throwing them on the shelf at $200 Direct. Meanwhile, your local card shop is trying to get $225 because they have overheads, plot, whatever. They have costs that they need to account for. Or maybe the secondary market goes to the moon. Now, in that case, if the market is so out of whack where a box retails for $200 and is selling for $400, they'll instantly get gobbled up out of GameStop. They're not going to sit on the shelf. But for stuff that doesn't quite do that maybe is popular but not super popular, that could put a little pressure on shops. If it's like, why am I going to spend $225 here when I can go to GameStop? They got boxes sitting on the shelves for $200. And then until that GameStop supply wore out, then people would look towards the LCS. So, that could impact that a little bit. The other thing, and I've seen this already in some cases, not everywhere, but I've definitely heard people talk about this. The GameStop PSA relationship for submitting cards, in some cases, is a better deal than what they were getting with their group submitter. Now, you might say, I trust my group submitter way more than a GameStop employee, and all valid concerns. But a lot of people are just going to look at, okay, cool, GameStop charges me $15 a card, $12 a card, whatever it is. I drop my cards off and good to go. The group submitter's charging $20 a card, $25 a card. Now, they're probably doing some adding services on top of that. Maybe they're reviewing the card for you. Card cleaning's banned. There's no way a group submitter would ever clean a card, so we don't have to concern ourselves with that, right? Right? Okay. So there are some other things built into that service that the group submitter is supplying, but that GameStop could eat into that business a little bit. If all of a sudden people are trading their cards in at GameStop instead of taking them to the local shop or the local show, that could take a little inventory out of the market if they ramp this thing up and kind of built this program out. So I think there would definitely be some positives and negatives for it. From GameStop's perspective, it obviously gives them a broader product mix. They're not so specialized in video games. They've been dabbling in the card side, and they get to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that space, probably with a focus still on TCG. But now they can add a little sports into the mix as well and start bringing on these ancillary things. I really think, and they're already doing this, but the whole every GameStop is a PSA group submitter, I continue to believe that that is going to be a really big deal going forward in regards to easing those burdens of getting cards graded, reducing friction, making things a lot easier to get cards into the PSA ecosystem. So is this plausible? GameStop is sitting on a boatload of cash. PSA is looking to probably do something. They probably want to either go public again, or maybe just get acquired and fall underneath the GameStop brand, or maybe GameStop picks them up and takes them public themselves, whatever. There's a lot of different minutia you can get into there, and I'd be lying to you if I said I understood half of it. But it seems like there could be something there. And GameStop suddenly becoming the world's local card shop has some ramifications to it. Are most hardcore hobby people going to take advantage of that? Probably not, unless the boxes are selling too cheap, and then everyone will be running in there first thing in the morning to grab them all. But generally speaking, those of us deep in, this isn't going to be that big of a game changer. But I think it is for the casual folks, and that's okay too. Look at the success just 1 month in of the PSA group submissions. There's a lot of casual people out there that aren't going to card shows every Saturday, that aren't filling out PSA paperwork, that aren't checking comps 14 times a day, that aren't hoarding boxes of Pokemon cards. And I think that's the audience that they would be going for, not us. And that's okay too. Interesting times, as always, ahead. We will see how this all plays out with the various machinations of all these hobby mega powers. Curious for your thoughts and comments, as always, down below. We'll catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.